In this video, you will learn how to create any type of character and animate any character of your choice just with your smartphone. Guys, you don't want to miss it out. I'm going to show you the top secret top animators use to create lovely characters just like this and just like that of Rico. No drawing skills needed. I will put you through on all the things you need to know in order for you to animate like a pro. Alright guys, so let's go there.
Alright, before we get started, there are two apps we are going to make use of. One is just for the reference, so that will be my web browser, and it's a popular site, ChatGPT. Okay, so all I need to do is just to input a prompt, as you can see on the screen. Okay, then it generated an image for me, which you saw in the intro of this video. All right, now once I'm pleased with this, all I need to do now is to save it and open up the app we'll be using for today, which is called the Ibis Paint X. Okay, and which is what you can see that I'm going to open now. All right, now upon opening up the Ibis Paint, these are a series of videos I've created so far. Okay, and this is the one I'm explaining today. So you can notice the background as well. I'll show you all this. Okay, but for the sake of this class, this video will be split into two aspects so that the video won't just get so long like that. Okay, so I'm telling you now, the first part will be the intro, how to draw and how to get you familiar with those tools. Then the next video will be the animation aspect. Okay, so from what we have here is just a play. You can see series of frame joined together to give me a movement, and here are the layers, what we have inside the layer. Okay, and there are lots to learn in today's class. So what we'll do now is we will just jump straight to the intro of this video. To create our own video. Thank you. All right, so let's proceed. First, to create our own project, we need to start by clicking on the plus sign. Okay, which I will show you right away. So the plus sign. So after clicking on the plus sign, here we have a series of options to use. We have the illustration, we have for printing, and we have for animation. Since we'll be animating the character, then we have to pick the one for that. Okay, but if you are just using illustration, you are not really printing, you just want to just show it to the world, then you go for that. But here we'll be making the character to move. Okay, so in that aspect we need to use the animation. All right, so I always love to use the 2K resolution. Okay, so I'll click on that, and here we have the frame per second. So from the frame per second here, for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be making use of 12 frames per second, but a well standard project, it's always 24 frame or 30 frame per second. But because of this class, we'll be making use of that. Okay, of 12 frames per second. All right, so the higher the frame rate, the smoother the movement, while the lower the frame rate, the more dragging the movement will be, which you can see. All right, so we'll be using 12 frames per second for this process. So we click OK. Now here you use your two fingers to you draw your two fingers together to zoom in. Are you with me? So you can see the canvas. Use your two fingers on the screen, then drag it together towards each other to have something like this. Okay, so that's how you drag, zoom in and zoom out. Okay, all right. There are a lot of tools we have here, a lot of tools which we can just explain. I can explain that, but the video will be very lengthy. Okay, like I said, this is the basics, and the next video will move to the main movement, but this is all will be a prerequisite to that one. So please take your time to understand the workflow of how IBS Paint works. Okay, and unless I forget, IBS Paint is also available on Play Store, App Store, and on your PC. Okay, so here we have our brush which we'll be making use of. We have series of brushes which we can use. So for the default one, we'll be having draw pen. Okay, so when you see it, you will notice this reference I am showing you right away. That is how it will look like. So now if I turn on the thickness at the start, you notice the thickness will be a little bit thinner. Okay, and if I also do that, the thickness at the end it's also be thinner as well. And once you apply that on your canvas, it will also reflect. So this is not really showing, but when I increase the thickness of the brush, then it will be visible. Okay, so let's see. Like I said, this class is going to be a very interesting class which everyone would benefit from. Okay, so double click on your two tab to undo, or use that arrow to undo. Okay, then I think if I increase the thickness now for it to be more visible, like I said, so let's see that. So you can see this is giving us the thickness, the way it will look like. So once I draw it now on the canvas, you will notice. So even though the starting point is not visible, look at the end point. You will see the end point is more sharper than the body. Okay, so you can see it. So with the help of the brush size, you have many useful tools at your disposal. Okay, so enough of that. I think it's time for us to import our reference image and start drawing. Okay, so let's get straight to that place. Okay, so what we do is click on that layer that shows one, then you will see a icon that has a camera icon. That's where you click to import your image. Okay, and that's what we'll be doing now. So let's do that. Now after importing it, you'll be asked, let us position it well. Okay, so here I believe it's okay like this. So just put it in a right position you might prefer it to be. The next thing, once you click on that green button, on that check mark, it will ask you, do you want to remove the background and the light? Yes, I want to remove the background for now, since I'm only drawing on those. I only need one of the image. Okay, and I'll click on the background remover. So here it gives me some control button. Nothing is removed yet, but with the help of the control button, the plus one, so once I click on an area, it highlights that area, all right, which you can see. So it has been highlighted already. And moving on to the torso and the pants, so those areas that are not highlighted will be kept, the areas that are not highlighted will be removed. Okay, and I can also use the threshold to max out some areas if I notice it is not that smooth. Okay, all right, so from there I think I noticed that the other leg is not selected, so I can just click on that and boom, already have this already. So once I click on the green button there, it removes everything. So the next thing now is to flip the character to the other side. Okay, so that we can start our drawing, and before we move on, before we move over to the working aspect of the character. Okay, so let's see how we could go about that. All right guys, now you click on that to flip. Okay, flip the character to the other side, then use the transform button icon to make sure the layer is selected one, to move the character to a good position. All right, so after moving the character to a good position, then which I'm pleased with. All right, now the first thing to do is to start to draw. So here we'll be making use of the vector layers, not normal layers. Remember in our previous, in our recent, when I was explaining, we make use of layers. So here I'm only renaming the character, okay, the layer rather, to reference. I don't need that aspect. Like I was saying, this image alone is on the layer, but I need a vector layer. Reason is, with the help of the vector, I will be able to edit, even though after drawing. But the normal brush, I could not edit. It's not possible to edit on a normal brush. I mean, in terms of changing of the colors, changing of the points and the lights. Okay, so here's an example of what I'm saying. With this now is black. Once I click on a color, it won't change. Okay, because it's a normal brush, and the brush is not a vector brush. Okay, so it will not change. And in order for me to use the vector brush, I will need a vector layer. Okay, so in order for this brush to change, that is if I'm using a normal brush, then if I click on that color and now draw it on the canvas, then the color will change. But for the vector, whatever color I wish to draw it, I can still edit it on that aspect. So in order for me to come in with the vector, first I will need to change my brush to vector deep pen. Okay, or anything vector there, just make sure it is vector, but I believe I prefer to use this vector deep pen. Now I would move on to okay, let's see it now. So when I click on the vector icon there, you can see a pencil mark there. Okay, now nothing is happening here, so I need to click on the pencil icon there. Then you look at that line color. I can change that line color now. You notice once I click on another color, it has changed. Okay, not only that, I can change the position of the vectors of the, what they call it, of the line I've just drawn. I can change it. Okay, so what I'll do is to click on the vector icon, then select on that image drawing. Okay, so select on the drawing. Once I select on the drawing, select on the pencil icon. Okay, here, let me see. Okay, then we can change the color again. Okay, I think I'm just repeating what I've said. Okay, sorry about this. I'm actually doing my voice over on this class. Okay, now here gives me the green color. Okay, so click on that area button beside that line there. Then here I can now edit the vertices. Hope you can see. So it gives me more control over what I'm doing, and it makes life more easier and simple for animators. Okay, so moving on, now we have that we could now delete this and create a vector layer so that we can use it. Okay, so it's always good you create your vector layer first before you use your vector plane, because if you did not create your vector layer first and you are using vector pen, it will always create a vector layer by itself, and you should be the one to have control over it. So click on that plus sign to add a vector layer like I said initially. Okay, so once that will be selected, now the next thing to do, you will see it now, it will show an icon that differentiates it from the normal layers. Okay, so you could see something like 3 shapes inside that area there. That shows a vector layer. Okay, and if I click on the plus sign, you will see another layer on top, which is labeled number 3. That one is a normal layer, and the one below is a vector layer. So the difference is the shape you see inside that canvas. Okay, all right, now we are using the vector layer, and let's rename it. Okay, so let's rename the layer to head. So once we rename the layer to head, then with my brush tool, I'll click on the brush tool. So once I click on the brush tool, then the next thing to do is to see how the thickness will be. Okay, and let's see what we are going to do here now. So from here, we'll be making use of another color so that the character will be a little bit different, so that we can notice, okay, this is what I'm drawing on and this is what I'm not drawing on. So once I use the vector pen as I'm drawing now, you notice it's not really smooth, and the line itself is not thick. Okay, so the thickness, once I reduce that, it's the opacity reduce. Okay, so that one is for opacity, and the other one is for the size of the image. I mean the size of the reference, the size of the thickness of the drawing. Okay, nothing much to do here. So we'll use this color, and we'll click on this aspect here. Since we want to trace, we don't want to draw, right? Because tracing make it more easy and simple, and it will really look like the reference image. So we'll click on that. Then we need to turn off the fill, but there's a mistake here. I turn it on, but you will see later on in this video it will be turned off. Okay, so just use that point, then you can see. So I'll try to use this slider to reduce the thickness. Okay, then though I'm still going to change it back to the outline to be black, but for me to see what I'm doing. Okay, so then I notice from here, I started noticing that something like a black spot is going on there. So then I went back to that layer, and I turned off the fill. Okay, so once I turn off the fill icon, it's removed that. Okay, so with that, now it makes it give me more room to work on myself, and make it more flexible for me to work on. Okay guys, Now let's proceed. We turn that off. So what we'll do now is to just to trace the whole option. So I'll be fast forwarding this part now. Okay, so once we are done with that, now is for us to change it to black. Okay, so just click on the vector, click on the image, then change, click on that pencil icon, then change it to black. Okay, so I'll do that now for the air so that you can also follow along. So click on that, click on the line color, change that to black. All right, so that's what was done on the face layer. Okay, so just change that to black. All right, and for that here as well, so you also change that to black. It's as simple as that. Okay, so moving on, the next thing is here we, in order for us to fill, okay, we have to fill for that. So you can see it's more or less looking alike now. Okay, so now with the help of this we can duplicate our layer and rasterize the duplicate copy. Okay, so in order for us to get the skin tone of all this is what was done. So first we'll click on the eyedropper, click on the eyedropper. Okay, so once you click on the eyedropper, take a note of the color palette. So once you click on it, it's changed the color palette immediately, and once I click on that, I can now drag it and drop it. Okay, just drag and drop as a reference. All right, so just drag and drop like that, and the same thing applicable again for the air. I'll just do is click on the eyedropper, select on the air color, and the color palette has changed, so just drag and drop. It's as easy as that. Now with the help of what do you call it, with the help of the paint bucket, now I can now paint over that layer, but first we will need to hide the reference image. Okay, so from here the layer, now the head layer has not been duplicated. Click on that plus. So what I'll do now is select duplicate layer. Now I now have two head, so we'll just hide the one on top and make use of the one on the bottom. So here I'll rasterize this. So the reason why I duplicate it is just in case I need to do one or two things in the nearest future. Okay, so here I'll just select my paint bucket with the color picker selected already and try to just fill that area. Please make sure that the area you are using the paint bucket, that area is enclosed, okay, or else your whole canvas will be filled with that color. So I'll click on the skin layer and paste it there. So that is it, the head layer is available in no time. So now we need to move on to the torso, okay, then down to the leg and the other aspects. So if I click on that layer now, you can see it now. Okay, so we've gotten that. Next is to move on to the torso. Remember we are using a vector layer, so click on the vector layer, and let's have a vector layer. All right, click on the plus sign, select vector layer. So once you select the vector layer, rename it. So I'll name it as torso. Okay, so select torso, and let's start drawing. So let's use that color we were using before. Okay, for the outline, for us to see that first. So this torso is a simple one. So just to click and click to get that shape. So for this also, I'll be fast forwarding these aspects. Now we just have to just do the normal thing. Okay, so yeah, I will need to rasterize this because this does a single filling. So what I'll do is to click on my vector icon, that is the arrow. Okay, so make sure that is selected, then I will click on the arrow. Okay, click on the pencil, the line color, set that to black. All right, that is done. Then go to the fill color, the color of the torso, click on that, then increase the opacity. All right, so that is it. It's as simple as that. All right, now let's move on to the hand. Okay, I'll call it the arm. This is quite simple, as it's as simple as what we've done initially. So we'll need to also create a vector layer for that, and boom, boom, just to trace it. Okay, so I'll also fast forward this a layer, this aspect as well. All right, now we are here. So after achieving this, and
We could now rename it and call it right hand. Okay, and also rename the other part and call it the left hand. Okay, so those will have right and left hand, and we can still do some little tweak to the other hand. Okay, so that we could differentiate it while the movement is going on. Okay, it's very important. I mean, very, very, very important you do that. Okay, so now you could just follow the cursor. Okay, so here is the other hand. I will just add some lines, okay, to show the interior part, something like this. Okay, now, and this under aspect. Okay, so I think this is still fair enough. Okay, so once we've been able to achieve this, then there is no tedious problem again. Okay, so by now you should be able to uh, complete this. Okay, and so in the next class I would show you the full character of this, and for you guys to also follow me along. Okay, for your corrections in case you've done yours, I would be happy, okay, to see it. And also leave this image in the reference in a link below where you can as well download it and use it as a practice guide. Okay, so guys, I can't wait to see you in the other video. Thanks for watching. Please kindly like this video, subscribe if you haven't, comment, and just share this video to your loved ones. Thanks. See you in the next video.